SpiceJet said on Saturday it will operate flights from 4 Indian cities to Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE between July 12 and July 26 for eligible ICA-approved UAE residents. The ICA stands for the UAE's Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship. A passenger having a valid residency permit of the UAE needs to take ICA approval before taking any flight to enter that country. In a press statement, the airline said it will operate flights from Delhi, Mumbai, Kozhikode and Kochi to the UAE. These flights will carry only those passengers who are destined for the UAE. From the Ras Al Khaimah airport, SpiceJet will also be providing coaches, free of cost, for passengers traveling to Dubai, Sharjah, and Abu Dhabi, it said. India suspended all scheduled international passenger flights on March 23 due to the coronavirus pandemic. Many Indian nationals who have valid residence permits of the UAE and are currently in India have been complaining on social media for the last few weeks about the lack of flights between the two countries. The Civil Aviation Ministry had on July 9 announced on Twitter, as part of the close strategic partnership between the governments of India and the UAE, and with a view to assisting UAE resident nationals who are at present in India to return to the UAE, the civil aviation authorities of both countries have agreed to operationalize the following arrangement from the 12th of July 2020. Charter flights operated by UAE carriers will now be permitted to bring Indian citizens from the UAE to India and carry ICA-approved UAE residents on their return leg, the ministry said. On India to UAE journeys, all these flights will carry only those passengers who are destined for the Gulf country, it noted. The ministry also said, Indian carriers operating repatriation flights to bring Indian citizens from UAE to India will be allowed to carry the ICA-approved UAE residents, returning to UAE from India, on the outward journey from India to UAE.